What's going on, guys? Rhino Bones here, the quick unboxing and review thing. Today I've got another product from my good friends over there at XDOVET. This time they sent me a professional airbrush kit. If you recall in the past, I did try their little handheld automatic airbrush, and I actually really liked it. I do have it right over here in my goodies cabinet for when I do some really quick airbrushing on my 3D prints. And I guess they enjoyed that video, so they sent me the big one right here. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Comes in this plain white box. It's got XDOVET written on the top, and really that's about it. First thing we're greeted with is the instruction manual. We've got an airline. We got a power cable. Ugh. I'm gonna have to take this over here out of the way of the camera to get the rest of it out. See, I'm gonna be gentle. Really excited about this. I do not have a professional airbrush kit. I have tried several of the small ones. Their little one there is probably my favorite. I also have one that came about in like the 1960s, and it uses compressed air in a can. And it's interesting to say the least. So yeah, this is my first actual airbrush kit. I'm really excited about that. Just toss this box over there. We got packaging foam. We got the accessories pouch here. I will just slide this to the side, and let's check out what we got. All right, there we go. We've got the actual airbrush thingy. Nice little case. It does come packed in this foam. I'm going to scoot that out of the way. Here's one of the little mixing things. You just put your paint in there and go... It's got the little measurement things there on the side, as you can plainly see. Or not. I don't know. And wow, that feels a lot nicer than I was expecting. Check it out right there. It does have a really good weight to it. It feels a lot more higher quality than the small one that it came with. And I imagine when this is actually connected up to the cable there, it's going to be a little bit easier to hold. But right now it's very, very front heavy. So we got the adjustment knob there. We got the little cup right there. You toss the paint in. And yes, away you go. Next thing out of the package, before we talk about the air compressor, we've got this little mount. So yeah, you attach this bad boy to the front of the unit, you slide your airbrush in there, and it holds them in place. It is made of metal. And here we have the actual air compressor itself. It does have this little handle here. It does say 110 to 120 volts, 1/5 horsepower. Let's see here, 1700 RPM. And 23 to 25 L per minute. I don't know what that means. It does say up to 57 PSI, and it does do auto stop. Yes, I like that, auto stop. So when I stop pushing the button there, this thing's not going to just keep on going and making a lot of racket. I like that. Now, I might have a lot of random stuff here in my office, but I do not have a spray booth. I'm going to take this thing out into the garage, get some wood out, and I'm just going to practice away. Join me, will you? Alright, so I decided to forego the whole wood thing because I didn't know how to do a good design. And I went with this really bright red paint that I have. I kind of wanted them to look like candied apples. And I think it turned out pretty good. You saw there that first one, I just laid that on super, super thick. And yeah, by the second one, I'm like, wait a minute, there's pressure sensitivity here. So with the third one, I decided to start really experimenting. I add in some blue and get a little bit of purple. I really lay in a lot of the, you know, that milky fluid there, the thinners, because I wanted to get some interesting effects. I've used some airbrush in the past, so I kind of knew what to do. And yeah, I was really pleased with it. Right there you saw I was just blowing air trying to get some of the little drips dried up before they made a big mess on anything. I still made a huge mess. It's okay. And here's where I added in some green, thinking, yeah, I'm going to make it look a little bit mossy and everything. And yeah, that just didn't work out at all. It just ended up being a slightly darker red. And the purpley bloody skull thing, he just kind of looked like a purpley bloody skull with a darker red face. But I'm actually pretty pleased with the final result. Now, this next segment here, I got out my fine liner pens. They do have some, like, really nice thick ink in them. And I'm just going over the teeth, and I'm going around all of the outside parts. I just wanted to kind of give them a little bit of texture, make them look a little bit more finished and, you know, finalized. I put a few little dots and blemishes on them, too. I think they ended up looking really, really sharp. And my goodness, I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm almost considering doing like an Etsy shop or something, because gosh, this was fun and I really like the results. This one right here, I did have that red blemish on the side, so I had to pop out a red pen real quick and yep, just filled it in. Surprisingly enough, it matched the candy apple that I had already started with, and I think it turned out pretty good. Now this third one here, I really liked the third one. Come on, hurry up and finish with the second one. Yeah, there we go. I like the bloody look on this one. It looks like somebody just ripped his flesh right off of his skull, and that's all the stuff that's left. Very zombie-ish. This is the one I actually am going to end up keeping for myself. And I really went all out on the black there. Now, I could have done like a black wash on them, but I didn't really think about it, and I thought, hey, I've got these pins handy. Might as well just do it this way. And I think I really like the results. I hope you guys like the results too. Now, notice these are super, super shiny. I was not a big fan of the shininess, so I did take these outside here in a couple of minutes after this, and I ran them over with a matte clear coat. I think they turned out great. That was a lot of fun. I had a blast using that airbrush kit. By the third one here, this is the third one, I had figured out how to use the different flow, and I had figured out how to get it to do a little bit of interesting things. So yeah, I just kind of did some experimentation with this, and I ended up with this like mottled color here, kind of like a rotten flesh oozing off of the skull. And obviously, as you guys heard in my little voiceover just a few moments ago, I decided not to use wood. I decided to use these little skulls instead. I just thought they were begging for some paint. This right here is the second one that I did. I think I did a much better job on this one than the first one. I had figured out how to use the flow right, and I had put a couple of coats on it, and this one came out, a little bit better. I kind of like this one. He's nice. The first one, though, I just kind of went full blast. I made as much paint in a short amount of time as I could. I got paint everywhere, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And this guy's got like paint that came off because he was stuck to the table afterwards, and there was just a lot going on with this one. But I think the final product is pretty darn cool. Unfortunately, I can't give any of these things away, even though I had kind of planned on it. MDJ2K7 and MDJ2K13 have already claimed these as their own. And I've decided this one right here needs to go up on my shelf with my plethora of other skulls. So, I had a good time. XDOVET did a pretty good job. Now, there are a few things you need to know if you're going to buy this kit. It does not come with any accessories. You're going to need, like, eyedroppers. You're going to need the paints. You're going to need the gloves. You're going to need some cleaning stuff. You're going to need a few little extras. However, at the price point this is, right now it's $89, and there are coupons available, as always. But for that price, you're going to have to think, you're going to need to spend about 15, 20 more bucks so you can get all of the little accessories that might come with some of the more expensive kits. Now, for instance, one of the kits that I had been looking at in the past was about 150 bucks. It had a very similar air compressor there, but it came with like lots and lots of accessories. This one didn't have those. However, that one cost about $60 more. So you're saving 60 bucks by getting sort of this bare bones professional kit. You just got to get some of those little extras that you might not think about. But for 89 bucks, I think this is pretty much worth it. It has a really nice little airbrush nozzle. It is fairly intuitive after you get a little bit of practice going on. I'm sure I could have read the manual, but you guys know me. I am not going to read any sort of manual. But I had a good time. Pretty cool stuff. As always, I will leave a link down in the description. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And stay tuned. My rebranding is coming after 3 more videos.